In dawn of man, when mind first dreamed of form, and shaped from chaos rights to house the storm, the crown arose, not fashioned just for show, but born to stir the soul from depth below. It sat not light, nor idly decked the head, but pressed with weight where sacred nerves are spread, a ring of order wrought with hidden flame that stilled the limbs and taught the self its name. Not merely gold, but labour's purest thread, was wound into the bands the ancients bled. With beaded veils, with feathers bright as fire, they raised their thought in symmetry's attire. Why bury such in earth's unminded place, where rot and time their finer lines efface? If meant for rank, such work had heirs to claim. Yet grave receives both diadem and name. No simple badge of kingship, law, or fame. The crown outlives the tribe that gave it name. For when the hands that shaped it cease to be, the crown still speaks of inner sovereignty. Its shape repeats, a halo's ordered curve, a mirrored arc the senses feel and serve. Not made to rule, but teach the flesh to reign, to lift the brow and scaffold thought's domain. The shimmer blindeth not, but clarifies. The pressure, soft, makes known what underlies. With every step, the beads and metals chime, the mind entrained in pulse, in gait, in time. To crown the head is not to shout command, but tune the self with gesture slow and grand. As harp to hand, so posture to the will. The crown compels the scattered soul be still. And here begins the circuit, closed and true, from hand to mind, from light to sinew too. Not art alone, but deep design is shown, a thought in gold, a truth in metal grown. The skull is not a wall where thought is caged, nor mind a flame in shadow darkly staged, but every limb and fibre, nerve and skin, has echo in the storm that moves within. Along the fold where cortex spans the crown, the body's shape is laid in mirrored gown. A phantom form, distorted yet precise, each inch of flesh inscribed in neural ice. The hands are vast, the lips are hills of fire, the tongue commands a province wide and dire. The feet grow small, the trunk a muted field. Not size but sensing is the form revealed. This homunculus, the brain's internal man, maps touch and motion in a sacred span. Each point of skin, a fire in silent code, each twitch, a ripple down the inward road. And lo, the crown doth rest where senses meet, where motion, touch and thought in union beat. To press that ridge is not a harmless thing. It stirs the harp of man from root to wing. A circlet placed upon the temple's crest is more than gold. It alters how we rest. The touch upon that zone can shift the scale, and wake the self where dulled perceptions pale. Each weight, each shimmer, every gentle pull becomes a note within a system full. The body knows, before the thought is made, that something great has shifted in its shade. For even now, with instruments refined, we trace the fields that move beyond the mind. Electromagnetic, faint but true, they crown the brain with pulses ever new. These fields extend, a trembling in the air, a spectral cloak of selfhood's hidden care. The crown, thus placed, becomes the tuning key to hum with thought's electric melody. In sacred rites, in trance, in leader's gaze, this subtle charge commands the mind to raise. No mystic fraud, but matter's firm embrace, a feedback loop of gesture, weight, and grace. So ancient crafts, though blind to modern law, by trial found the path the fields restore. They shaped the gold, aligned the light, the line, and made of matter's ring a crown divine. The mind is not in silence self-contained, but pulses outward, charged and unrestrained. Its rhythms spin from neurons joined in fire, a harmony the stars themselves admire. Each thought, a spark within a flowing stream, each mood, a chord within the brain's own scheme. These waves combine, cohere, or break apart, and shape the tone of mind, the beat of heart. But when in sync, these frequencies align, the soul takes on a clarity divine. Awareness sharpens, presence draws its line, and inward noise dissolves in thought's design. Though faint the field that shimmers from the skull, its pattern bears the mark of self in full. It radiates, a halo born of flesh, a crown invisible, but pure and fresh. Here enters gold, not merely bright or rare, but tuned to echo subtle songs in air, its atoms loose, its form a perfect plane. It shapes the charge, yet offers no refrain. In symmetry the diadem is cast, each branch and spike a compass from the past. Not random art, but angles made to steer the currents that the waking mind holds dear. The feathered height of plume and radiant spike extends the self into the realm of light. The weighted beads that move at edge of eye entrains the mind to patterns slow and high. For here is found a principle of flame, that structure placed within the field of name, if rightly shaped and tuned to body's crest, can calm the storm and set the mind at rest. Thus from the forge the ancient sage emerged, a craftsman, yes, but with a vision urged. Not beauty blind, but form that touched the soul, and made the scattered parts of self be whole. The crown, in this, becomes a final art, a circuit made to bind the mind and heart. It shapes the fire that leaps from nerve to crown, and settles chaos where the soul might drown. What rises here is not a gem alone, but mind made metal, spirit forged in stone, an interface where body, thought and art converge to form the engine of the heart. The crown is not mere regency displayed, but threshold where the inward light is laid, a place where symmetry and nerve combine, and soul is channeled through the grand design. The one who shaped it, hammering with care, was builder not of wealth, but of the air. That unseen field where consciousness takes flight, where being draws its center from the night. In burning gold or veil of glassy bead, they sought not praise, but states the soul might need. To still the breath, to lift the brow in grace, to mark the self as temple, form, and place. The wearer, then, is not a lord by name, but vessel of an older, deeper flame. For power flows not down from throne or blade, but from the gaze that rules and is not swayed. Thus reign begins in clarity of mind, and that is what the crown was wrought to bind. A halo not of right, but of insight. The circlet forged to consecrate the sight. The loop returns, through craft, through thought, through time, where every crown repeats the ancient climb. To shape the self, the give that shaping birth, and forge from both the image of one's worth. When buried with the dead, it is not lost, nor spent like coin, nor counted as a cost. It lies beside the skull as silent twin, the resonant remains of what had been. For death does not unmake the form once shown. The circuit sleeps, but is not overthrown. The crown remains, though breath has left the frame, to hold the pattern, whisper back the name. In this, the crown outlives the age and hand, a constant through the drift of dust and sand, not power's mask, nor merely beauty's gleam, but tool of light and architect of dream. A shape that knows the mind is not confined, but shaped by what surrounds and how aligned. That self is not a spark alone and bare, but lives in form, in field, in light, in air. So here it stands, this circlet worn with grace, where physics, myth, and flesh have found their place. A crown, yes, but no tyrant's hollow thing, a psalm in gold, a thought with feathers wing. And still it speaks, through grave or glass display, of minds that sought to lift the night away, that made of matter something near the soul, and crowned the head to make the person whole.